Hey, do you want to know how to paint a Nurgle Demon Prince? Okay, I'm going to be using my Harder and Steinbeck Infinity Airbrush, 0.4mm needle. I've already primed Demon Prince black with Vallejo, and the first colour I'll be putting on is Corn Red. So I'm just going to show you how I mix this up in my airbrush. So I'm using some retarder, about 20% to 80% airbrush cleaner. The airbrush cleaner there is actually empty and is full of isopropanol alcohol. And I've just put it in this little mixer bowl, just for ease. I don't really count out how much I put in. I just sort of estimate how it feels and how it looks. So the main thing I'll use is this little glass pipette to mix it. And as I'm mixing it, I'll sort of, I don't know, you can sort of feel the consistency and just dripping it on the side just to see how it reacts. And when I believe it's thin enough, that's when I'll start to use it. You always do like a test spray on the back of my hand just to make sure it's reacting how I expect it to and adjust if necessary. And now I'm going to go in. I would normally undershade all the shadow areas with the red, but the way I'm going to be painting this model actually help if the whole thing's just base coated in red. So now I'm moving on to my next colour. It's going to be a dark green, and that's going to cover the armour plates. I'm going to try and aim just for the armour plates with my airbrush. I haven't really got a zenithal in mind at the moment. I am trying to keep out of the shadows. At the same time, I am trying to let the green sort of bleed over the red just on the armour panels. The model's got quite a lot of creases and bends, so it's actually quite hard to be specific for where I want to aim the airbrush, but yeah, there's always a way. So you just keep turning the model until you find a way you can spray it. And yeah, just doing some second and third passes just to make sure that it's coloured how I'd like. Cool. There's my next colour, it's the mid-tone, and this one I will be doing more of a zenithal, just spraying mainly from above and trying not to hit the shadows. Just letting the airbrush naturally blend the colours. And yeah, just letting the 3D aspect of the model do the work. Again, just trying to work in one area and then move to another area whilst the other area dries, and then going back. And yeah, just pushing the green until it's the correct opacity for what I'm looking for. Again, just trying to find a decent angle to hit that leg position without ruining the shadows. Cool, and then moving on to my final highlight colour, Moot Green. Again, just like giving it a test on my hands, make sure it's acting how I want. And this is going to be very particular highlights. Again, just choosing which areas I want to hit with this. I don't want to cover up what I've already done. And I'm going to be trying to use all Citadel paints just to make it easy for you to follow along, just because I know everyone has easy access to them. You can pick them up. I don't know, I haven't been in any gaming shop where they haven't carried them. And yeah, you don't need to order them off the internet or anything. You can pick them up locally or wherever the nearest place is for you to get them. I realise it's a little bit out of focus because the camera's focusing on my airbrush. I guess the brighter green in the airbrush is capturing its attention, but it should pull into focus, and yeah, you can still see the areas getting brighter. Cool, just giving it a final look around, make sure, do some extra if I need to do some extra, but yeah, looks like I'm happy. Cool, so I oversprayed the Moot Green on his tail armour plates, which I wasn't very happy with, and I'm just putting in some Flesh Tears Red. So yeah, just as you can see here, no good. So yeah, we're just going to undo that. This red blends in nice with the corn red and adds some nice shadows, and yeah, just hides my mistake nicely. And yeah, this is contrast paint just straight out of the pot and into the airbrush. Works really well. Cool, so on my wet palette we've got Bugman's Glow, Cadian Flesh Tone and Kislev Flesh. The footage of me doing the face and his other fleshy bits was corrupted, but luckily I think it was when the battery ran out, so when I noticed that the camera had stopped, I stuck a new battery in and I hadn't done his arm yet. So you've got a bit of footage of me doing the arm. The corn red originally was the main base, and then yeah, I'm just putting the Bugman's Glow on top of it. It's a little bit out of shot, sorry about that. I'll try and make a mark or something on my desk for where I need to keep the model, to keep it in frame. Yeah, just slowly building up the layers, following the shape of it, and trying to pick out the most sort of sticky outy bits. My style of brush painting is kind of like dry brushing but with wet paint. It's very delicate. It looks like I'm being quite rough, but I'm gently tapping Yeah, I guess it is, I don't know, a bit like a dry brush technique, but yeah, using wet paint, so. And yeah, he's trying to catch most of the raised upper areas. And just slowly, layer by layer, highlighting it. And just moving up to the brighter highlights, and again just following the shape of it, trying to hit the most prominent sticky outy bits. And yeah, just trying hard not to overdo it and undo the work I've done before. Yeah, I used the same technique for all his other fleshy bits. Oh, I was just double checking the model and noticed I missed off his hand, so I could highlight it a bit more. Cool, so I've got the Dawn Yellow. I'm just going to be highlighting his armour panels using my Winsor Newton 00 brush. The brush I was using before on the flesh was just a Citadel small layer brush. And yeah, even though I am happy you can see the detail of the model, just adding a few edge highlights here and there just helps to make the detail pop out more. And yeah, there is a lot of detail on this, and I tend not to edge highlight every single edge. I just like to do the main ones, or where I believe the light would catch it the most, or anywhere that just makes it look cool. But yeah, I'm not really worried about hitting every single edge. That is really cool and I love the way that looks, but for the way I paint and my style, I think it suits it more to be, I don't know, more limited. I'm getting a bit shaky because I'm not holding the model correctly, so just changing my stance there. Definitely don't want to be shaking whilst you're trying to do thin edge highlights. So yeah, but just take your time with these steps, enjoy the process. Cool, same thing happened again whilst I was trying to film doing the bronze on all the trim. The footage was corrupted, but luckily I had some spare bits that I needed doing and noticed. So yeah, I'm just like doing the bits, all the bronze bits just around his armour trim, a sort of back rack that's attached to him. I'm pretty sure I'm using the Citadel small layer brush again here. Cool, so I'm just going to be doing all the cloth elements. I think he's only got 2, so it's not too bad. But yeah, just base coating it with a nice burgundy. And I'll be doing his hood as well. Yeah, again, just taking my time. Not to get it on my armour pieces or the skin that I've already done. It's easy enough to fix, but it's better if you don't need to fix it. Must have splodged a little bit on there, just use my finger to wipe it off. Nice and easy. It's a good thing about the contrast paints, they take a longer time to dry, so if you do make an error, it's not the end of the world. You can easily just wipe it off. Well, then just showing you the same thing again, but just on his hood. Oh yeah, for his armour trim and bronzy bits, I was using Balthazar Gold as a base. Cool, so I'm just using this pink horror now to add a bit of texture, and yeah, just sort of like a texture and a highlight, just so you can see that it's material. And when I say texture, the paint is still thin. I'm not adding physical texture to it. And again, sort of like a tappy, scratchy, almost dry brush, but wet paint technique. And yeah, just the same thing again on his hood. Trying to hit the highest bits, or the bits that I think need to be highlighted and look textured. And then yeah, so the reason I went so high with the colour before for the texture is because I'm going to be putting a wash over it. And yeah, this colour really goes nice over the pink and over the burgundy. So it keeps my shadows nice, but also sells the texture in the highlights nicely without covering everything up. And then yeah, same thing just over his hood. Cool, I'm just colouring in all the bone pieces. So you've got his toenails, got loads of skulls on him, and his horns. And yeah, mostly just trying to catch the raised detail and add, again, not a physical texture, but more of a textured look to the individual parts. But yeah, again, just taking my time and enjoying the process. Cool, and just thought I'd darken up his tongue a little bit, just so it differentiates a little bit more to his flesh. And yeah, just add some nice shadow and tone to it. Cool, doing all the silver bits, so the chain and his sword. And yeah, just moving the model around just to make it as easy as possible to paint all the bits I need. Cool, so this is definitely more of a dry brushing technique, definitely been a lot more rough with it. But I used to do this a lot slower, and it adds like a really nice sort of textured, scratchy, really makes the sword look like it's been used. But I noticed, even though I used to take, I don't know, a lot longer and do it a lot slower, that I could get the same result just by doing this. So yeah, I just do it this way now. It's, I don't know, might not look controlled, but it is still controlled. Cool, and just going over all the brass trim, adding some depth and shadow back in. Cool, and just adding this to all the bone bits. Yeah, the contrast paint's very nice for going over like what I've done here, adding texture and hitting the raised bits, and this helps sort of pull it together. Cool, I'm going to be using this on all of the silver parts. So again, just all over the chains and the sword. I'll also add this to the bronze parts on the sword, just to like dull down the handle and that a bit, but I won't be using it on his armour trim or any of the other bronze bits. Cool, and then just going back over and re-highlighting all of the bronze parts just to get them to pop out and get the definition back. It's a very nice way to paint, base coat it in with a sort of quite a bright bronzy gold, dulling it down with something like Agrax Earthshade, and then highlighting it back up again. And yeah, just doing the same thing with all the silver bits. So yeah, hitting the edges, making it pop, and then also I'll be doing, going along sort of the tappy dry brush route, but still with wet paint, and that will add a lot of really nice scratches and texture to the sword. And again, just re-highlighting all the bone parts. Just after the contrast, it does bring all the colours together, but then it is nice to just go back over the detail and make everything pop again. I'm just using this on the top part of his horn. I like the top part of the horn to be black and then get lighter as it connects to the head. But yeah, again, a lot of the colours, I have used a lot of different pots of paint. You could mix them, but again, just for simplicity and ease for someone that's beginning to follow along, you don't need to worry about how much of what paint I've mixed or anything. You can just use the ones I've used as I've used them. Cool, he's got a little helmet on the back there. I decided it would be a Blood Angels one. And yeah, I'm just painting it up now. Giving it some highlights and a bit of texture. Just a little bit of interest. Cool, going back to my Winsor Newton 00. And just painting Mephiston red on all of the eyes. So he's got some eyes on his shoulder pad, he's got 2 on his head, and then on his gun there's another 2. It's a bit hard to keep it all so you could see it. So just did the first 2. Got the Wild Rider red, it's like the middle part of the eyes. It is very hard to try and film and, I don't know, keep out of the way but also paint accurately, but this is my first video, so I'm learning at the same time. Cool, and then just add in the yellow for the final dots. And I've put a head torch on just because I noticed every time I lean forward I'm blocking the light and it's creating shadow, so this is a bit of an experiment to see if that would help alleviate that. Yeah, just taking time. Do it. It doesn't matter if you mess it up, it's easy enough just to go back and put the start colour on with Mephiston red, Wild Rider, and then go back and touch it with the yellow. Go back to my small citadel layer. And now we're going to try and do the ruins and the sword. Just loading up the brush and tapping it in there. If you happen to go over, it doesn't matter, just glide your brush over the tops of them with the silver paint on, and that will get rid of it if you go outside of the ruins. Just doing his Chaos Ruin on his arm, and I was trying an experiment, so I've filled it with red, and then I was trying to get some orange in there to try and get it to like tie-dye. It didn't really work. It sort of highlighted the top bit a bit more, so that was like cool. But yeah, it's nice to experiment, and I'm just doing a nice wash over his top horn just to blend the black and the horn colour together. Just sort of adding a nice reddish hue to it. Just doing the stone he stood on now. The model's basically done, just literally just the base to go. But yeah, just scratching texture out onto the stone. Getting some ivory. Just mix it in with the grey, just lighten it up, and then yeah, doing some of the just the more raised parts of it, just to make it pop out a little bit more. Of course, adding some PVA glue to the base, just spreading it out. It's always nice to try and get some like on the bottom parts of the cloth and on the feet and just other stuff around, and then yeah, just spreading some, just like a pre-mix of, I don't know, just a bunch of different basing materials. Basically just open a bunch of packs and just put it all into one thing. And yeah, nice and easy. Like, comment, subscribe, share.